Ladies and gentlemen, it is an undeniable truth that life does not always unfold according to our plans. We often encounter unexpected detours, setbacks, and obstacles that challenge our resolve and test our abilities. However, these moments of failure, though difficult, are not the final word on our aspirations. In fact, they may be the very catalysts for the success we seek. Failure, in its essence, is not a negative force. It is, instead, a profound teacher. One that, if we choose to learn from it, provides us with wisdom beyond our years. Think for a moment. Every time we stumble or falter, we are presented with a lesson. What went wrong? What could have been done differently? What does this moment teach us about our weaknesses, our strengths, and our approach to life? These are the questions that failure demands of us, and in seeking their answers, we cultivate growth. Let us not make the mistake of seeing failure as a mere end or a judgment upon our efforts. Failure is not the end of the road. Rather, it is the moment at which we pause, reflect, and recalibrate our course. It is in the quiet moments after failure that the seeds of progress are sown, for it is here we find the insights that can propel us toward a new beginning. The successful individual is not the one who avoids failure, but the one who dares to learn from it and move forward with greater wisdom. It is not enough merely to acknowledge our mistakes. We must, as a necessity, reflect deeply on them. It is too easy to let our failures pass by unnoticed, merely chalked up as misfortune. But the true value of failure lies not in its occurrence, but in our capacity to adapt to it. When we reflect on our missteps, we gain an understanding of what does not work, what should be discarded, and what must be refined. This is the process by which we evolve. It is this capacity to adapt and learn that separates those who merely endure failure from those who turn it into success. The ability to persevere in the face of failure speaks to the resilience we build along the way. Resilience is not born in success, but in failure. Success may bring ease, but failure demands perseverance, an unwavering commitment to continue despite the setbacks, to rise once again even after falling. It is this persistence, grounded in humility, that allows us to transform failure into the fuel for future triumphs. And humility, in this regard, is essential. Humility is the recognition that we are not infallible, that we do not possess all the answers, and that we are subject to the limitations of our knowledge and abilities. In failure, we are reminded of these truths, and it is through the acceptance of our imperfections that we find the strength to press on. Failure is a concept that many of us attempt to avoid at all costs. From an early age, we are conditioned to see failure as something to be ashamed of, something to be feared, or even something that marks the end of our endeavors. It is a common belief that success is the absence of failure, that to fail is to be weak or incapable. But if we take a step back and examine the nature of failure, we will begin to see that it is, in fact, one of the most valuable experiences we can encounter on our journey towards success. At its core, failure is a part of the natural process of growth. No one achieves success without first experiencing setbacks and mistakes. In fact, these very moments of failure are often the turning points that propel us forward. When we make a mistake, we are forced to confront the limitations of our knowledge, skills, and understanding. We are reminded that we do not have all the answers, that we are not invincible, and that we are human. This realization, though humbling, is not a mark of defeat. It is an opportunity for growth. Through failure we learn. It is in the face of failure that we are challenged to examine what went wrong and why. When things do not go as planned, we are presented with the chance to reassess our approach, to identify weaknesses, and to refine our strategies. Failure, then, becomes a feedback mechanism, a tool that informs our decision-making process and helps us to make better choices in the future. The value of failure lies not in the mistake itself, but in how we respond to it. When we experience failure, we can choose to wallow in self-pity, blame external circumstances, or give up altogether. Alternatively, we can choose to view the failure as an opportunity to learn, to understand what we could have done differently, and to grow from the experience. The most successful individuals are often those who have encountered failure time and time again, but have learned to use it to their advantage. The process of learning from failure is not always easy. It requires self-reflection, humility, and a willingness to admit that we do not know everything. It means being open to feedback, whether from others or from our own experiences, and being willing to make adjustments to our thinking and actions. This process of reflection and adaptation is what separates those who achieve success from those who are trapped by their failures. Those who succeed are those who are able to learn from their mistakes, adjust their approach, and continue moving forward with renewed determination. Failure teaches us resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to recover from disappointment, and to keep moving forward despite obstacles. Every failure we encounter offers us the chance to build this resilience. It is through facing challenges and overcoming difficulties that we develop the mental and emotional strength necessary to persevere in the face of adversity. Without failure, there can be no true resilience. Failure forces us to dig deep, to find the courage to rise again, and to keep going, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. When we accept failure as an inevitable part of the journey, we free ourselves from the fear of making mistakes. This fear of failure often holds us back, preventing us from taking risks, trying new things, or pursuing our dreams. But when we reframe failure as a natural and valuable part of the process, we give ourselves the freedom to experiment, to innovate, and to push beyond our comfort zones. We understand that failure is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced as a necessary step towards success. Failure is the crucible in which success is forged. It is through failure that we refine our ideas, sharpen our skills, and strengthen our resolve. Every mistake we make is an opportunity to become better, to improve, and to grow. Success is not simply the absence of failure. It is the result of learning from every failure, adapting and moving forward with greater wisdom and insight. In this light, we must shift our perspective on failure. Instead of viewing it as something negative or discouraging, we must recognize it as an essential part of the journey to success. Failure is not an endpoint. It is a teacher, a guide, and a catalyst for growth. It is through failure that we come to understand what works and what doesn't, what is worth pursuing and what is not. Failure shows us the way forward, and in doing so, it becomes an indispensable ally in our pursuit of success. It is not through avoiding failure that we achieve greatness, but through embracing it, learning from it, and using it as a stepping stone towards something greater. Success, in its truest sense, is not achieved without failure. It is achieved by navigating failure with resilience, humility, and a willingness to learn. To truly succeed, we must go beyond merely encountering failure. We must engage with it thoughtfully and actively. Success does not emerge simply from surviving failure. It arises from our ability to reflect on it and adapt accordingly. The process of learning from failure requires introspection, an honest assessment of what went wrong, and a deliberate effort to change our course based on those insights. Reflection is where growth occurs, and it is in this space of thoughtful analysis that we find the key to turning failure into a foundation for future success. When we fail, it is easy to be consumed by emotions such as frustration, disappointment, or even shame. These feelings are natural, but they can also cloud our ability to learn from the experience. Instead of simply dwelling on how we failed, we must shift our focus toward understanding why we failed. What led to the mistake? Were there miscalculations, assumptions, or gaps in our knowledge? Were we too hasty in our decisions, or did we overlook important details? These are the types of questions we must ask ourselves in the wake of failure. Failure, when analyzed with curiosity and objectivity, becomes a powerful teacher that reveals our weaknesses and provides clues about how we can improve. Reflecting on failure means acknowledging not only the outcome but also our approach, mindset, and actions throughout the process. For example, perhaps we took on a project without fully understanding the scope or without considering the resources required. Maybe we allowed ourselves to be distracted or diverted from the core task by other priorities. Recognizing these patterns is crucial because it allows us to identify areas that need attention or improvement. By examining both the big picture and the minute details, we gain valuable insights into how we operate under pressure, how we make decisions, and how we can adjust our behaviors to avoid repeating the same mistakes. Once we have reflected on the failure, the next critical step is adaptation. This is where we take what we have learned and apply it to future endeavors. Adaptation involves changing our strategies, refining our approach, and adjusting our mindset based on the lessons learned from our previous mistakes. For instance, if we failed due to lack of preparation, we might adapt by investing more time in research or organizing our thoughts before taking action. If we failed because we did not anticipate certain challenges, we can adapt by creating contingency plans or seeking advice from others who have experience in the area. The key to adaptation is not to view failure as something to be avoided in the future, but to see it as an opportunity to sharpen our decision-making and enhance our strategies. Adaptation also means developing flexibility in our thinking. The world is constantly changing, and rigid one-size-fits-all solutions often fall short when confronted with new challenges. When we are able to adapt, we open ourselves to new possibilities and ways of thinking. We might discover alternative methods, techniques, or resources that we previously overlooked. Flexibility allows us to pivot when necessary, to embrace change, and to refine our approach to meet the evolving demands of our goals. This flexibility is what enables us to overcome obstacles, build resilience, and stay on course even when the path ahead is uncertain. Another vital aspect of adaptation is the willingness to seek feedback. We do not operate in a vacuum, and sometimes the perspective of others can provide valuable insights that we may not have considered on our own. Feedback from mentors, colleagues, or even our own experiences can reveal blind spots or offer new strategies for overcoming challenges. Adapting to feedback requires humility, the recognition that we do not know everything and that there is always room for improvement. It is through this openness to learning that we can evolve and refine our approach. Adaptation is also about embracing a growth mindset, a belief that abilities and intelligence are not fixed, but can be developed over time. A growth mindset encourages us to view failure not as a reflection of our innate limitations, but as a temporary setback that can be overcome with effort, learning, and perseverance. With a growth mindset, we see failure as part of the process of becoming better, not as evidence of our inadequacy. This mindset shift is crucial in moving from a passive experience of failure to an active process of growth and improvement. The ability to reflect and adapt after failure is what enables us to build momentum towards success. It is not the failure itself that defines our future, but how we respond to it. The individual who fails and then reflects on their actions, learns from their mistakes, and adapts their approach is much more likely to succeed than the one who repeats the same mistakes without making any changes. This continuous cycle of reflection, learning, and adaptation is the engine that drives progress. The process of reflection and adaptation forms the foundation for a deeper sense of mastery in any field. As we encounter and learn from failure, we gain not only knowledge, but wisdom. The kind of wisdom that allows us to anticipate potential pitfalls, recognize patterns, and make informed decisions. This wisdom grows with each failure and each subsequent adaptation, ultimately leading us to greater success. Success, then, is not simply about avoiding failure, but about our ability to reflect, learn, and adapt to the lessons that failure offers. The more effectively we engage with failure, the more prepared we become for the challenges that lie ahead. Through reflection and adaptation, we transform setbacks into stepping stones and lay the groundwork for lasting success. Perseverance and humility are two essential qualities that underpin success, especially in the face of failure. These traits are not only central to navigating setbacks, but are also critical to building the resilience needed to thrive in the long term. Resilience, the capacity to recover from difficulties, is often shaped not just by our ability to bounce back from failure, but by the inner strength we develop through the consistent practice of perseverance and the recognition of our own limitations. Perseverance, at its core, is the ability to keep moving forward despite obstacles. It is the determination to stay committed to a goal even when faced with difficulties or discouraging outcomes. When we encounter failure, perseverance is what compels us to stand up, dust ourselves off, and try again. It is the quiet strength that urges us to keep going when others might give up. Without perseverance, failure would have the power to stop us in our tracks, leaving us paralyzed by doubt and uncertainty. But with perseverance, failure becomes just another challenge to overcome, a lesson to be learned, and a path to success that requires effort and patience. The importance of perseverance lies in its ability to transform setbacks into progress. Each time we fail and continue moving forward, we build endurance and mental toughness. This process of pushing through adversity strengthens our resolve and deepens our commitment to our goals. It is often through the most difficult times, when the odds seem insurmountable, that our true potential is revealed. Perseverance teaches us that success is not always instantaneous. It is often the result of continued effort, even in the face of disappointment. The more we persevere, the more we learn how to handle adversity, and the stronger we become in our pursuit of success. But perseverance alone is not enough. Humility plays an equally important role in turning failure into a stepping stone to success. Humility is the ability to recognize and accept our own limitations, flaws, and mistakes. It is the understanding that we do not have all the answers and that we can always learn more. Humility is not about self-deprecation or undervaluing ourselves. Rather, it is about having the wisdom to acknowledge that failure is a part of the process and that we are not infallible. Without humility, we may be inclined to dismiss our mistakes, ignore the lessons they offer, or believe that we can do no wrong. But it is in embracing our imperfections that we open ourselves to growth. In the face of failure, humility enables us to remain open to learning. It allows us to admit when we have made a mistake and seek ways to improve. When we approach failure with humility, we are more likely to ask for feedback, consider alternative perspectives, and adapt our approach. Humility frees us from the arrogance of thinking we have all the answers and empowers us to learn from others and from our own experiences. This openness to learning is crucial, as it ensures that we do not repeat the same mistakes and that we continue to evolve as individuals. Humility helps to foster patience and self-compassion, two qualities that are often tested when we encounter failure. It is easy to be harsh on ourselves when things do not go as planned, to question our abilities, or to feel defeated. However, humility allows us to recognize that failure is not a reflection of our worth. It is simply a part of the learning process. By accepting that we are not perfect and that we will make mistakes, we can be kinder to ourselves and give ourselves the grace to try again. Humility encourages us to view failure not as a permanent setback, but as a temporary challenge that we can overcome with perseverance. Humility and perseverance work hand in hand to create a mindset of continuous improvement. With humility, we are able to acknowledge our mistakes and take responsibility for them, while perseverance enables us to keep moving forward despite the setbacks. Together, these qualities form a powerful combination that fuels our growth and progress. Perseverance keeps us going, while humility ensures that we remain open to change, learning, and improvement. The interplay between these two traits creates a positive cycle. We persevere, learn from our failures, adapt, and keep going, and through this process we continue to grow stronger and more capable. The relationship between perseverance and humility becomes especially clear when we reflect on the nature of long-term success. Achieving success is rarely a matter of a single victory. It is the result of sustained effort, overcoming numerous challenges, and learning from multiple failures. Perseverance allows us to persist through the ups and downs, while humility ensures that we do not let our ego or pride stand in the way of growth. Without perseverance, we might give up after encountering failure. Without humility, we might fail to learn from our mistakes, repeating them over and over again. But with both qualities in place, we are able to navigate the journey to success with resilience and wisdom. Perseverance and humility shape our relationships with others. When we demonstrate perseverance, we show others that we are committed to our goals and that we will not easily give up. This can inspire those around us, encouraging them to keep going in the face of their own challenges. Similarly, humility allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, recognizing that we do not know everything and that we can learn from those with different perspectives. This openness to others creates an environment of mutual support, where failure is not seen as a personal flaw, but as a collective experience from which everyone can learn. Perseverance and humility provide the foundation for turning failure into a source of strength. Perseverance ensures that we do not give up in the face of adversity, and humility enables us to learn from our mistakes and adapt accordingly. Together, these qualities foster resilience, wisdom, and growth, making them essential tools for anyone seeking to turn failure into success. Through perseverance, we develop the strength to keep going, and through humility, we gain the wisdom to learn and grow along the way.